Welcome to Elevenses with the reps at Diesel Bookstore. Very happy to see everybody today. Every Wednesday, we get together here in our little space and we talk to our fabulous publishers, representatives, and our booksellers, and we discuss everything that is new, upcoming, and exciting book wise that our professionals want you to know about. And it's always edifying, and I always add to my to be read list with our fantastic reps. This is the fun part of the week for me, absolutely, and hopefully it is for you too. We post all the links to all of the books that we're going to talk about today down in the chat area over there, so you can go ahead and click on those later and order everything. And watch the replay because you don't want to miss any of this, and order these fabulous books. And it's the season now. We're rolling. It's the holiday season. It's a gift giving season. It's a fantastic fall for books really happening. And we're got a lot of books we want to talk to you about today. But before I introduce our reps today and start talking about books, I want to tell you what's going on in the store at Diesel in the upcoming week. And we've got a busy week coming up. We have, starting off with tonight, actually, at 6:30 p.m., we have Gary Ferguson discussing and signing The Twilight Forest, an elegy for Ponderosa in a Changing West. And that's going to be tonight at Diesel, 6:30 p.m. And then tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m., we have Norman Ollestad discussing and signing Soul Survivor. And so that is going to be tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Don't want to miss that. And we have a big event that we're very excited about, a sort of a story time event coming up on Saturday at 3 p.m. Diesel and Poppy present Storytime with Katherine Schwarzenegger Pratt, and she'll be reading and signing her kids' book, Cat and Brandy. It's absolutely adorable. That's going to be that Saturday, November 8th, this Saturday at 3 p.m. That's going to be Katherine Schwarzenegger Pratt, Cat and Brandy. All right, no, we're not done yet. We have more. We have on Sunday, the 9th, it's going to be Wendy, Correa, and Jacquelyn Jackson, and they will be discussing and signing My Pretty Baby, Seeking Truth and Finding Healing, a memoir, and the other book, The Female Rogue, a memoir of living fiercely. Now, that event is going to be moderated by Renee Montagne, former NPR correspondent, and Ellen McDonnell, a former NPR exec. So that's going to be a really interesting and great event. That's coming up on Sunday, the 9th at 3 p.m. And then actually not quite last, but next Tuesday, the 11th, that's Veterans Day, Amy LaRocca discusses and signs How to Be Well, Navigating Our Self-Care Epidemic, One Dubious Cure at a Time. And then joining her in conversation will be Lauren Sherman, author and fashion correspondent for Puck. So that is Tuesday the 11th at 6:30 p.m. And then last thing I want to talk about is I just want to tease once again that on the 20th of November, which is about 2 weeks from now, we'll be having Rep Night at Diesel. Very exciting. We haven't ever done that before at Diesel, and you get to see our some of them, lovely publishers representatives in person talking about their big books for the season. That is a ticketed event. Seating is limited, and it's a hot ticket. So go ahead and purchase your ticket. We're going to have a raffle. There's giveaways. There's books, lots of fun stuff, inside scoop as well. So get all your holiday shopping done there at Rep Night on the 20th. Everything is on our website. You can just go ahead to www.dieselbookstore.com and check our events. Everything's right there for you. All righty. now that we have discussed all of that business, let's talk about books. Joining us today, we have Kristin Rasmussen from Scholastic. Kristin's always got the good kids stuff.
Good morning.
And our returning champion, Andrea Tetrick from PGW, always with the most amazing books. I think Andrea has one of the best lists ever with books, like everything Andrea has, I want. So, and I have a couple of books to talk about today. Very exciting books that I've been waiting to go on sale. So,
Excellent.
Yeah, let's get started. Kristin, why don't you lead us off?
Okay, terrific. Happy to do that. Hi, everyone. The first book I thought I would talk about today is a beautiful new picture book that just came out earlier last month. It's called The Gift of Words. It's a holiday picture book by Peter H. Reynolds. It is a terrific follow-up to Reynolds' book, The Word Collector, which I don't know if anyone is familiar with, but if you're not, you should be. It's fabulous. This one would make the ultimate, oh, there's that beautiful cover. This would make the ultimate holiday gift for any young reader on your list. It's a picture book, so the best age for this is probably maybe 5 to 7. But even adults will appreciate the message in this book, which is basically let's find joy and happiness and the true meaning of the holiday season in the words that we use and the way that we interact with one another. And it's just absolutely joyous and beautiful. Each illustration is more a darling than the next. And I know a lot of my stores. I know Diesel definitely has this on the shelves right now, and a lot of stores are doing displays with this book where they're hanging words from the tree that they have in the store. It is, I will stress, a holiday book. It is non-denominational, good for anyone who's looking for an uplifting message during this time of year, which I think we all could use. So definitely check out The Gift of Words by Peter H. Reynolds. It's just beautiful.
Peter H. Reynolds is terrific.
It really is.
Yeah, and we've always done really well with his books, and this is absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous and sweet, uplifting
Very
book.
sweet, very sweet, very uplifting. Just the kind of right thing we need right now. It's perfect.
Right, and really broad appeal, which I love, and seeing a lot of parents gravitating to this kind of book. And it's also, I want to stress, like, grandparents come shopping for their grandkids right now, and they don't always know what books the grandkids have, or this is like the perfect recommend for grandparents.
It's a great gift. It would be a great gift. And I will say too, one of the other things I really love about it is he has a way to approach children in a way that doesn't diminish them and talk down to them. And it's not hitting them over the head with these kind of messages that they don't, that's just not enjoyable for a child. It's very well thought out and executed in a way that I think kids and parents will both enjoy reading over and over again. He definitely does not talk down to children, which I really, really love and appreciate. I think that's so important because there's nothing they hate more than being preached to.
Right. And I think, the key, like, to whether or not a picture book is a successful picture, there, because there's a lot of them, there's a lot of competition, is when your kid says again.
Right. Exactly.
This is definitely a read it again type of book.
So. I think so too. I love it. It's great.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, Kristin. Andrea, what's your first book of the day?
Well, might I comment on this book? I think that the power of these sorts of books is that, yes, there's lessons that we can learn about the true meaning of the holidays and how to conduct oneself that can be applied all year round. So I'm happy that book is in the world. The first book I want to talk about has been shortlisted for the 2025 Booker Prize. This is from Europa Editions. It's called The Land in Winter, and it's by the great contemporary novelist Andrew Miller. Andrew Miller is a considerable talent. The late, great Hilary Mantel was a big fan and said, before she passed, that his work was a source of wonder and delight, and that is true. A lot of his works revolve around a historical fact, an historical happening, and then he fictionalizes it. This one revolves around, or takes place over the course of a record cold winter in England, over the winter of 1962-63. And it is anchored by the story of two couples that live within sight of each other in the English countryside. Both of the wives are pregnant. There are secrets, infidelity, the past of each of these characters come to the forefront to haunt each of them, and also their marriages. But it is just all described in the most wonderful and luminous prose, that it is, it transcends, really, I think, the historical nature of the books in this 1962 setting, and really becomes a story of the struggle to deal with the choices that we make in life. It is absolutely a showstopper. Can't believe how beautiful it is. I'm looking here at my notes here on my laptop. The Washington Post just came out with a beautiful, published today, one of, what we call in the trade a selling review, because this is going to sell books. And they said, basically, the reviewer said that it is exquisitely hypnotic. So, wow, got a lot going for it. Samantha Harvey, last year's winner of the Booker Prize, with her beautiful book Orbital, is also a huge fan. Just says that it's superb and cinematic, which is really true, and even painterly. Can't say enough about this novel. Now, this is a crowded field, y'all. Seriously, it's an amazing list of Booker. The Booker shortlist is just an amazing list of great novels this year. So the competition is stiff, but the literary bookies, this is in the top third. So we'll see. The betting is hot, and the Booker Prize winner will be named next week. And this book publishes next week. So call up Diesel and reserve a copy now. And I think this is gonna, no matter who wins, and they're all worthy, this will be a literary gift for the holiday season for sure.
I love Europa, everything Europa does, right? And how many shortlisted Booker and Booker winners do you have every year? I mean, this is what I mean when I say you have great books. I always pick books off the Booker if I haven't read them already. On the, if I miss something on the long list, and then I come back to it, because it's always such a great list. And Europa does great books always, and they're really handsome books as well. I love the format with the French flaps, and they're really good looking. I haven't read this one yet. I am behind on my Booker shortlist reading.
Well, I mean, the stack is just.
I know the stack is toppling.
Yeah.
But
on Instagram this year, they've done a really interesting thing where the Booker Prize Committee has, they have a celebrity, an actor, or another author read excerpts from memory, like the opening page, basically the opening passage of each Booker Prize winner, and it's absolutely mesmerizing. It's
That's
really
clever.
beautiful. And it's a great
Yeah.
way to get people, like, pique people's interest and appetite for running out to get those books. And so if y'all haven't seen that, go check that out. It's really, I think, extremely well done.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Thanks, Andrea. Excellent. All right. Well, I have a book I want to talk about. I read it a long time ago, but it just went on sale yesterday, and that is Coyote: The Dramatic Lives of Sam Shepard by Robert M. Dowling. There it is. There he is. All right. So I'm always amazed when somebody doesn't know who Sam Shepard is, but people know him from different things because he was such a sort of a polymath in so many ways. But he's a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright, and sort of broke the mold in American drama, coming out, and I guess it was the 70s, the 70s and 80s, where his plays were really um, around. Buried Child, Curse of the Starving Class, so many amazing plays. But he was also a very talented musician. That's how he started off. And all of his plays, he played drums, and all of his plays have a very strong rhythmic sense to them. Some actually have drums in them. But then he went on to become this amazing actor in The Right Stuff, and then he was in all kinds of movies. And the last thing that he did was he played a role in Bloodline, where he was like amazing. This incredibly dark TV show with Sissy Spacek, Kyle Chandler. Anyway, I first heard of him reading his plays in college, and just kind of, fell in love with him that way, through the plays. And then I saw the guy in in a movie, and I was like, oh, okay, he looks like that. The book is great. It's absolutely like forensic detail how he started off. He's a Southern California native. He was a Southern California native, and like right in the valley, actually, um, LA area. And a lot of his plays sort of kind of came back to that. He had an alcoholic, abusive father, and that sort of theme ran through his plays. He went off to New York to seek fame and fortune, and had a lot of really high profile love affairs. Patti Smith. And then, of course, Coyote was a nickname given to him by Joni Mitchell, who he also had an affair with, who wrote that song about him, which I had going through my head the entire time I read the book. I couldn't get it out. It was like it stayed in there for weeks. And then, of course, while he was still married, he had an affair with Jessica Lange, and then he stayed with her for a long time. They had 2 kids. And anyway, an amazing life, a real like iconoclast, and a brilliant writer, a brilliant mind, troubled, of course, because without being troubled, what is there? And just talent, I guess. But the trouble adds amazing layers of depth. Such an interesting and dynamic person. And this is a really well written and fascinating book. And if you're not familiar with his plays, this book will make you want to pick them up and read them. So that's Coyote: Dramatic Lives of Sam Shepard by Robert Dowling. That is my pick. Back to you, Kristin.
Okay, so next up, I have a nonfiction choice that I absolutely love. It's called Forests. It's written by Nell Cross Beckerman and illustrated by Kaylin Chalk. I have a copy here. I know Joey's going to show us one too. There's that gorgeous cover. I love this. This is the third in a series by Nell and Kaylin. There was Caves first, and then Volcanoes, and now Forests. And of all of the books that they've done together, I feel like this, to me, feels kind of the most California. I absolutely love it. It takes us through a number of different forests, from a kelp forest on the ocean floor to the Amazon, to forests here in California. The illustrations are absolutely stunning. But what I think I love most about this, I'm going to see if I can show it to you real quickly here, is it's got a bit of a kind of a parallel text style in that it has very kind of short little sentences. Munching mouthfuls of bursting blueberries, you inhale fertile earth while hunting for morals and fairy circles. Goosebumps prick arms in waterfall mist as the ground crunches underfoot. I mean, these lovely poetic pieces of text here that are very approachable for a younger child that you're going to be reading to. But at the same time, she does add in this kind of meatier text for an older child. So I love that too. So you have a bit of a parallel story in this sweet, poetic language that she shares that's perfect for young kids, 4, 5, 6, and then more meaty information, science kind of stuff for a 7 or 8-year-old, 9-year-old child. So it works on many different levels, and it's absolutely, I mean, as you could see from this cover, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful format. I've had really good luck. Of course, Diesel has copies of this, or will. I think it just came out on Tuesday, yesterday. So they have copies of it. I am going to be talking about this again at the Rep Picks night on the 20th. And I will, if it's any inducement to come, I will be bringing a copy to give away at the raffle. So please be sure and come to the Rep Picks night so you can get your hands on it, because it's really gorgeous. And I think this is a beautiful story, as I said, that works on several different levels.
Gorgeous.
It's so pretty. I mean,
yeah,
ridiculous.
I mean, just the cover, just the cover by itself is.
Yeah.
Thanks for reading that excerpt too, because that really gives a good sense of how beautiful it is inside as well.
The language is fantastic.
Yeah.
She's a fabulous writer, and the combination of the two of them, that, like I said, that this is their third, is really kind of stellar. I hope they keep it up, because it's honestly one of my favorites that I sell in the nonfiction space for sure.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Kristin.
You bet.
Andrea?
Thanks so much. That's hard to follow. That's a beauty. I want to talk about The Predicament, a Gabriel Dax novel. This is by the legendary William Boyd, and it comes to us from Atlantic Crime, which is an imprint from the Grove Atlantic family of publishers. Grove, along with Europa, as we were discussing earlier, has been the publisher of many Booker Prize winners in the last 10 years or so, including last year's Orbital by Samantha Harvey that we spoke of. And this fall marks the inaugural Atlantic Crime imprint. They have so many great crime, espionage, mystery, thriller novels and authors on their list that they really thought that this is the way to showcase them by giving them their own imprint home. And it's just a delight to have William Boyd come over. His first novel in the Gabriel Dax series was last year's Gabriel's Moon, that was met with critical and popular approval, and we saw some great sales, and which is nice to see that received so well. And in this novel, we find Gabriel Dax, our protagonist, who's a travel writer recruited into the world of espionage rather reluctantly by the head of MI5, a woman. Actually, she's not the head of MI5, but she is a top handler. I'm getting my espionage stories mixed up. I just saw the final, the episode finale for Slow Horses, so please forgive. But Gabriel has had super hot, yet fraught little dalliance with his handler, and that is really messing him up. And but so he's, continues to resent the manipulation of being drawn into this world of the spy, but also craves the attention of being called upon to spy. And he's this time in Guatemala, in the capital, on the cusp of a tumultuous presidential election that will involve an assassination, etc. So he gets embroiled in this. The novel also takes us to New York City and Pennsylvania, actually. Whereas the last one really showcased 1960s London, an African continent besieged by assassination, and a little bit of sun-dappled Spain and Warsaw. So I do love that he's globetrotting. He's a great character. He is a ladies' man. He's struggling with a terrible trauma in the form of a house fire when he was a child that he somehow escaped but killed his mother. He has an excellent and interesting, very compelling shrink who's an Austrian woman who shows up in these pages. There's a lot going on. I think it's just really colorful and amazing literary espionage writing in the vein of John Le Carre, which the Wall Street Journal has called out. The man is such a great writer, and I'm just happy that he has a home at Atlantic Crime now.
I cannot wait to read this book. I'm on the waiting list. My husband has it. As you know, Andrea, he's a big fan.
He's a big fan. He's a big fan.
Yeah, big fan. And we actually were in Europe, and the previous book, he was so excited to get the William Boyd that we actually dragged that across the ocean. On the plane. And so he was super excited about this one too, and he's reading it now. Really, really well done. Great writing. The British espionage is really having a moment, thanks in no small part to Mick Herron and Slow Horses and everything, which is great though, because the more the merrier, if they're well done. Yeah. And he really is such a great writer, and I just such a excellent locales that it go. I love a book that takes me places. So I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, so it is great, and it's so nice to see that literary espionage,
yes,
is
exactly
in favor. It's just it's really refreshing, and
there's such a big audience for it too.
Yeah, we're happy about that.
Yeah, thank you, Andrea. All right, I have another book to talk about, and that is Sleepless Planet, a graphic guide to healing from insomnia by Maureen Burdock. That is a graphic narrative. It's not a novel. It's a graphic narrative. She previously wrote another graphic narrative called Queen of Snails. Anyway, this is her account of, there it is. There's that beautiful cover. And the whole inside is like this as well. I approached this with a little bit of trepidation because I was like, okay, an interesting graphic narrative, a graphic memoir-ish about insomnia. And I've read a lot of different insomnia books for reasons. And I was going to wonder how this one was going to hold up. And it's really fantastic. She's sort of a lifelong sufferer of insomnia, as so many of us are. I'm finding out more and more people suffer from insomnia, especially these days. And she sort of goes through the various methods she tried to get over the insomnia by herself, and then seeing various doctors trying out all kinds of weird cures and methods. She visits a doctor who tells her it's about, the way your mouth is when you're sleeping. She learns to sort of breathe differently by learning didgeridoo, which actually does help.
but turns away everyone in her social circle.
Yeah, she's really, just open to a lot of stuff, but it's very intelligent the way she lays it out. And then, ultimately going through and she therapy and all of these different kinds of things. And with a good dose of humor and really good looking drawings, like amazing graphics that really hold you, but pretty intense information as well. I learned a lot. And just it's a combination of sort of diet and our, the screen time, and the fact that there really isn't there's like no quiet and darkness anymore in our lives. If you factor in just all of the information we have coming at us constantly through screens and all of this kind of thing. And that really upsets various, rhythms and sleep patterns and things like that, food and all of these kinds of things. So she's got, it's not prescriptive necessarily. It goes through all of this stuff, and it kind of lays out what's happening through her own journey and research, which is good. But she does have some very useful cognitive behavioral exercises that anybody can kind of try to help with it. And patching together all of these kinds of things, she managed to start sleeping, and good sleep. And I just thought it was fantastic. I am gonna buy a couple of copies for the people I know who really struggle with insomnia, because I think it's not didactic anyway. The graphics really add to it, and yet there's a lot of really great information in here, and it was fun. It was actually fun to read, so I recommend. That went on sale yesterday.
I'm telling
Sleepless.
you, insomnia is a silent epidemic.
It is, and she talks a lot about that.
Yeah.
She talks a lot about that and the numbers, and then she starts talking about how many. And I personally know so many people,
Yeah.
who just really, and it can. I mean, it's quality of life, just really goes down when you don't sleep.
It
Yeah.
impacts so many things. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, terrific, a really great book, and one that you could put on the bedside table when you
So
can't
pretty.
sleep.
Yeah.
All right, Kristin, back to you.
Okay. Next up, I have which I would say it's a perfect graphic novel for a child, probably ages 9 to 12, upper grade school age kid. It's called Refugee, the graphic novel by Alan Gratz, with illustrations, and I only wish I had interiors to show you because they're spectacular, by the very talented Sid Finney. This book is exceptional. It is a graphic novel adaptation of the novel that Alan Gratz wrote several years ago. If you have young readers in your lives, they've probably read some of Gratz's books. He is the master of historical fiction for young readers. He's absolutely brilliant at it. His books are well researched, incredibly impactful, beautifully written. And they're fabulous. I think so many of our young people these days have learned a lot about history through Alan Gratz's books, and I'm really happy about that. This one's no exception, and only in that it's a different format. The story is the same. It basically takes a look at three kind of parallel stories of refugees through time. The first is Joseph, a Jewish boy living in 1930s Nazi Germany. The second is Isabel, a Cuban girl in 1994. And the third is Mahmoud, a Syrian boy in 2015. I have to say, sadly, this book is probably more timely than ever. And it's absolutely beautifully told, the story of these three children trying to survive in a very, very difficult world. And their journeys. And so if you have a young reader in your life about age 9 to 12, this would make a perfect gift. It's an important book, and I really, really hope people give it a try because it's important, as I said, and timely.
Alan Grant's is just such an easy recommend, and we've talked about the age group, that sort of in between age group. They're on the upper end of junior readers, but they're middle grade readers. They're not yet young adult, and they're sort of in the middle.
YA.
And especially for boys specifically, or coming in looking for things that they've read a lot of other stuff, and there's not a lot directed at them, that group of kids, and they're kind of making their own decisions about books, even though the parents are sort of involved, but they're really taking charge of their own reading at that point. And he's so great. Alan Gratz fits right in there, and such a great recommend. And then I just remember we've sold so many of these books, and have recommended so many of them. But the graphic novels they're starting to do with some of these, books for readers who are a little older, and now they're putting them in graphic form for either reluctant readers or the younger siblings of these readers, which is such a brilliant idea.
It's trying to reach a whole new audience, and the visuals are so stunning that I do think it's going to make a difference. You're going to get a whole new audience for these, and that just makes me so happy, because as you said, Gratz is very, very good at this, and the visuals just give it an added punch that I think you just it's really fantastic. So if you haven't read Gratz before, this would be an excellent place to start.
Absolutely. Excellent. Thank you, Kristin. Andrea?
Okay, next up for me is yet another Atlantic crime entry here, because there's just too much. It's an embarrassment of riches, as they say. And this is
and I say it every week on Elevenses.
Yeah, exactly. So this is The Dentist, and this is the first in Tim Sullivan's runaway best-selling series in the UK, starring the brilliant neurodivergent Detective Sergeant George Cross. This series has sold over 700,000 copies in the UK, which is incredible, and is now published for the first time here in the US after Grove Atlantic publisher, a legend in his own time, Morgan Entrekin, read the first one here, The Dentist, and fell in love and said, why has no one picked this up and this series up, and I'm going to buy this entire series. So this is the first entry here. And this character, this is it's a police procedural, but so well done. And I'm telling you, you're not going to know who did it until the final pages, which I love. It's like, you think you know who's done it, and then you don't. Each of the books start out with like the dentist, the politician, the bookseller. That one's coming in a few seasons, and the subject or the title of the book refers to whoever got it in the whoever's like been murdered in this series. So the dentist gets it in this one, and these are just so great. This character, George Cross, is beloved among the neurodivergent readers who have come to this book and their family and friends. Sullivan is receiving like a bunch of fan mail just thanking him for really just drawing this complex character who's on the spectrum. And I'll tell you that I really feel that I learned a lot from George's challenges in dealing with his coworkers and people that he meets along his job as he's trying to navigate a world that doesn't understand how his brain works, right? So I really feel that I have a bit of an education more of an education and a knowledge of the challenges that neurodivergent people face, just like walking out the door every day, right? And he's brilliant. He has a 99% case solving record, and gotta love this character. It's great. The Irish Time, back when these books first came out in the UK, says that these books are in the traditional mystery mode of P.D. James, which is that's saying something right there. That's highfalutin praise. Stephen Fry said that he's a perfect detective for our times, or anytime really. So got a lot going for him, and it's nice to see that he's been embraced with this first book by the independent book selling community. Wow, whoo! Maybe I didn't sleep very well last night. Maybe I need that book that you just pitched, Deborah. Anyhow, it's great. The Dentist, and there's more to come from Tim Sullivan. You'll see these on the bookshelves at Diesel going forward.
This is a very exciting series. I'm very excited about this. Can I just ask you one question, Andrea, since I haven't yet read it, although it's right here next to me waiting on the list. Is he specific about being on the spectrum? Like, does he state it? Because there's quite a few TV shows and books lately with neurodivergent characters, but they're not explicit about what's.
No, it's explicit. And
okay.
And he asks advice from some people on how to, deal with it in the workplace. It's very explicit, actually.
Right.
And,
well, the Brits are really out ahead of us on this one, I think. And many of their TV shows and books have neurodivergent characters.
Well, and he's so, and I mean, because it comes up, he's dealing with young detectives underneath him that he has to supervise, and he's pretty blunt, like at all times, and he doesn't really understand that interface. He doesn't know that might be, he's just getting right to the point, and that scares some of the newer recruits in the office. And so he's learning how to navigate that dynamic, and the non-neurodivergent people in the office are also learning how to navigate and understand, his needs and his way of being in the world. It's quite amazing and pretty seamlessly done too. I don't feel like, I'm being like, it's not like, a clinical treatise on, or like, it's not like,
right.
It's or something.
It's folded in well. Yeah. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this series. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrea.
You're welcome.
All right. We have time for one more, the lightning round. Kristin.
Okay, my last entry today is one I am really, really excited about. It just came out late last month. It's called Facing Feelings Inside the World of Raina Telgemeier. Many of you parents out there, or grandparents, probably recognize Raina Telgemeier. She is huge in the graphic novel space with young readers. Books like Smile, Sisters, Drama. I mean, she's had many, and they have all been very, very successful. Kids eat these up. So they're absolutely great. I remember being introduced to her work years and years ago when I worked in the library, and the kids kept asking if this book was available, if we had it on the shelves. And I was like, I don't understand what this is, what's happening. The graphic novel thing was still pretty new. And I took the time to read it. Took it home one night and read Smile was the first. And I remember just being blown away, thinking to myself, this is going to be a thing. And sure enough, the kids proved me right. That is definitely a thing. And she is an absolute leader in this space. Her latest one, Raina's latest one, just came out not long ago with with Scott McCloud, and it's called The Cartoonist Club. Also a fabulous book for young readers. This one is a little bit different in that it's based on an exhibit of Raina's work.
Uh-oh.
Exhibit. Oh, did you lose me?
You froze for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, it's based on an exhibit that she had at the Billy Ireland Cartoon Library and Museum. And so this is basically kind of like a catalog of that exhibit. So it's very, very different. It's not a graphic novel. It's more of a catalog of that exhibit. And it gives so much good backstory on Raina, her life, her work, all of her creations and many characters. And it's really, really a wonderful catalog of what she's done up to now. It's a different kind of book. I think it would make a terrific gift for a real Raina fan. And some of the Raina fans are now probably in college or beyond, because her first book was quite some time ago. So it's a wonderful gift. It's it's bigger. The format's different. It's not a graphic novel. I know that Diesel most likely has some copies on the shelf. As I said, I think this would make just the most wonderful gift, a real inside look into her creative process for the Uber Raina fan. So this one's fantastic.
This is great. I can't tell you how many. I'm just piles and piles and piles and piles of books of hers that we've sold.
Yeah. She's incredibly popular and incredibly talented, and this one is, the talent shines through for sure. And you really do get an inside look at some of the things about her creative process and how she works, which I think any fan will really, really appreciate.
Yeah. Andrea, you were going to say?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep on interrupting. I'm very excited about this book, and I think it would definitely make an excellent gift for an aspiring graphic novelist, a young graphic novelist, just to kind of delve a little bit, more fully into her world. So
no, that's a great point, AT. That's a really good point. It's even if you're not a fan of her work and you're interested in this field, I think this will give you, like you said, a lot of insight. It's terrific.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kristin. All right, Andrea, let's wrap it up for the day.
All right. Thanks so much. The next title I want to talk about is from McNally Editions, and it is Love Life of a Cheltenham Lady by Dinah Brooke. This is a neglected classic, transgressive, unapologetically raw, psychologically complex, and it revolves around a woman on the edge that will appeal to a new generation of readers, looking for novels that serve the truth, it's unvarnished by societal niceties. So it is, I'm telling you, it is a cut above. This was her debut novel in the early 70s, 1971, I think. And she's just this brilliant forgotten novelist that we're so excited to see McNally bring back, so that she is forgotten no more. She wrote Lord Jim at Home, that was called Ferocious by the Telegraph. And this is just a devastating account of the sexual awakening of a young English woman who's out on holiday in Tuscany. And it's just kind of unbelievable that this was a debut novel. It is so masterly conceived, and it should have never gone out of print. So we're just so happy to see it back in print in the States, from the brilliant McNally Editions editorial team, with another great crack cover there. So
what a gorgeous, I'm like mesmerized by this cover. I love it. I really love this. A lot of the forgotten novels from this time period, like let's not forget about Peyton Place, the
Yeah.
original, you know, it
Yeah.
was great. That stuff was fantastic. It was really interesting, and a lot, it's sort of gone by the wayside, but
Yeah.
McNally's bringing a lot of these back, which is fantastic. I
Yeah.
love McNally editions. Yeah.
I'm making my entire Christmas list through AT's recommendations here.
I mean,
I literally have somebody's
have
name
to
by
hear it.
everything.
this
I'm
year and
blushing.
next
I'm
year.
blushing.
I love it. And I spy, I don't mean to interrupt, but I do have to say, I spy the new Lily King behind AT
Oh, yeah.
there.
Oh,
Heart of the Lover.
Yeah.
Man, that I got to tell you, that's my favorite book of the year.
It's so wonderfully done. It's just so nice
so
to see
good.
that a great Grove House author, you know, you thought that she hit her stride back with Euphoria, but she just
Yeah.
keeps on going. I
She
mean, this is
absolutely does
brilliant
not
work.
disappoint. Yep, agreed.
See that? It's value added here. Even more books in case you didn't have enough. What a fantastic collection of books. I'm so excited about all of these books, really. And even though my list is long and it's just so hard to keep up, so many books. But so many fantastic books. So thank you so much for coming on today to talk about them. Kristin Rasmussen from Scholastic and Andrea Tetrick from PGW. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you very much, Joey, behind the scenes, for producing everything and making it all seamless. It's a really, really great selection of books. Thank you again. We'll be back again next week with more books, more reps, booksellers, and just more books to add to your list. I hope you will come back again next week and join us for that. In the meantime, everybody, thanks again and have a great week and happy reading, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody.